Welcome to BackupAgent's coffee break session. This session will give you the opportunity to learn something about online backup while you drink a coffee. In 5 minutes you will know exactly how to set up an online backup service using BackupAgent and the Active Directory. As a service provider, BackupAgent can enable you to bundle your online backup services with other hosted or managed services such as hosted Exchange or hosted SharePoint. With our software platform, you can successfully add backup as a service to your portfolio with a very short time to market. Behind me you see a running backup client as it is installed on Windows Vista. Of course, this version of the backup client is completely configured, and I will just shortly demonstrate what you should do to start an online backup from this point. As you see behind me, I have various default tasks configured to perform a backup. I can just open one and edit this task just to give you an impression what kind of options you have. The first view is about the name of the task, and I have the option switched on to backup open files using VSS. The second tab shows me exactly which data I've selected to perform an online backup for. Then of course I need to schedule a time where this backup should run. Now currently I've configured this backup to run on a daily basis around 4:30 p.m. But of course you can change it to any time you want. There's more options to it. I can, for example, filter a few files or anything I want. But most importantly, it's about the data and when it should be backed up. Now this task is already configured. I can just fire it out and you can see what happens. It will now show me a little detail screen about what it is doing exactly, so you can understand exactly what type of backup it is performing, what kind of data is moving back and forth between the client and the server. Of course, this demo shows you how to perform a backup when everything is configured, but this coffee break session will explain you how to provision and authenticate users using the Active Directory before they can use BackupAgent and configure BackupAgent. So, before we go into detail about the Active Directory, I'll explain you the architecture behind BackupAgent and the Active Directory to understand how you can combine BackupAgent platforms with Active Directory to provision accounts. Before you can understand how you should provision online backup services using the Active Directory, you must understand that every online backup service goes with user-based subscriptions. And typically, in online backup, all clients connect through the internet. As you can see here, there's a cloud in the middle called the internet that connects various PCs and perhaps also servers to a data center right here. But to use BackupAgent, you have to do something extra. You have to install our software on the front-end platform called BackupAgent Provider. And the next step to do is to simply connect BackupAgent Provider to an existing Active Directory, like this. And the next step will be probably to enrich your existing panel software with options to provision accounts to the Active Directory for online backup. This could be any panel software, like for example Planet Technologies VEF. Of course, this software is based on the HMC platform, and very typically it is very simple to enrich the Active Directory with some group memberships using any HMC platform. So that in that way, these 3 simple steps are all you have to do to get your online backup services up and running, and you can immediately benefit from any existing install base which are provisioned through the Active Directory and through the HMC panel software platform. Now that you've seen the architecture behind BackupAgent Provider and the Active Directory, let me show you by demonstrating in an Active Directory with BackupAgent Provider behind me how you can create a user in the Active Directory and set up a backup account for this user. Of course, I did some work already. This is a complete installation of BackupAgent Provider on this system, and there's an Active Directory available to use for provisioning purposes. As you can see behind me, I already created a user so far, which is called BAS, and I will add that user now to the Active Directory. Just for demonstration purposes, I will make sure that the user cannot change his password. And I've picked a password for this user to use right away. Now let's just go ahead and create that account. And this is all it takes to actually provision an online backup account, because this user can automatically be assigned for a test account within BackupAgent. Now if you want to go a little step further and actually give them a paid account, then you can add this user to a BackupAgent group inside the Active Directory with a specific name to it. I created two groups. One group is to provision an account for 10 gigabytes of data, and one group is to provision accounts of 20 gigabytes of data. This group you can see here. As you can see here, this group has the magic name BackupAgent Professional Licenses, 20 gigabytes of data. Now let's just go ahead and assign this user to this group. I can go to this user and assign a group membership to him. I have to find groups, of course. There's not so many in it. And there they are. Widen this one. Let's give this user 10 gigabyte account. That's all it takes. Now let's go back to the server, or to the client system actually, to see what this user now has to do to actually benefit from this account. Now behind me you can see once again the online backup client software, and I already filled out my UPN and my password to register for an online backup account. Now the first time a user will do this, our BackupAgent system will look up if this user exists in the Active Directory, and if it does and it has the right group membership, it will create this account for the user on the fly. So let me go ahead and try if I can actually use BackupAgent and get a 10 gigabyte account. I press next. Now the next step, as always, will be to fill in an encryption key, which will privately encrypt and decrypt any data you back up. So as a service provider, you don't have any worries about liabilities concerning your data. And this is all there is to it. So it's very simple. You can actually go ahead, use your existing account inside an Active Directory, and there's no registration process required. As we can see here, my BAS user is now authenticated on the Active Directory, and the Active Directory has provisioned a 10 gigabyte account to this user to start using BackupAgent. Let's now summarize what we have seen during this complete session. First of all, we have seen that BackupAgent is the most user-friendly client software available today. This is very important because if you want to roll this out on a large scale with numerous agents and numerous customers out there, you don't want to run into various support issues because of the introduction of a new service. Secondly, implementing BackupAgent Provider in your data center is a very easy task to do. Then configuring this and attaching to the Active Directory is simple as well. And then next to an easy implementation, we see that existing users can actually use and try BackupAgent without even having to sign up for any program if they are already part of an existing Active Directory. This makes the obstacle of trying BackupAgent very, very low. Now of course, finally, you have to know that time to market with BackupAgent to release and launch an online backup service can be very short. Maybe it can even be as short as this demo movie showing you how to integrate BackupAgent with the Active Directory. Well, your coffee might not have been finished yet, but my demo is over, and I want to thank you for the attention about online backup and about BackupAgent, and maybe we can meet sometimes in person so I can explain exactly the power of BackupAgent and the benefits it can have for any service provider that wants to offer online backup services and combine it with, for example, other services. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching.